Hi there. Welcome. Welcome to the podcast. So this is a very different part of the podcast. This is where I bring lessons from sessions. So in this podcast, I bring all the universal lessons that I see over and over and over again in clinical practice. And these lessons just don't extend to clients. They're also lessons that I've had myself, that I'm familiar with. And the reason for bringing this type of podcast to you, this kind of me to you, no one else, not interviewing anyone else, is so that we can demystify the healing process, so that we can bring more clarity to it. One of the major things that I hear over and over again is that this is just me. This is just my way of being. There's something wrong with me. I'm not doing it right. And my purpose for bringing this type of podcast to you is so that we can not only demystify the healing process, but that we can also learn how universal healing is. We can see ourselves in these stories. We can understand ourselves through the stories that I bring you. And that you can see that it's not just you. You're not alone in this healing journey. You're not doing it wrong. You're not doing it inappropriately. There's a lot of what you experience, other people experience too. And so therefore, I bring you lessons from sessions. And today's podcast, today's lessons from sessions, is about the ups and downs of the healing process. A lot of us fundamentally believe that healing is you're hurt and then you move towards healing, and as you start that journey of healing, that it gets progressively better. So you're really hurt and then it just gets progressively better and better and better and better and better. The truth is that that's not how it works. The truth is that it often loops back on itself, that it often gets worse before it gets better. It often takes a direction into something else. It often opens up other potholes, other Pandora's boxes. It often takes us in different directions than when we started from. And that can be so, so, so difficult, because the idea that we have in our head is that it's a straight line. The idea that we have in our head is that we start and we stop. And the truth is so far from that. So I wanted to bring some of the reoccurring language that I would hear in session. And I wanted to talk particularly about this very messy part of the healing journey. And I call it the homecoming, which is when all of the hard work is done. You understand, you see the pain that you've been in, you see the core pain, or as we like to call it within the clearing method, the core woundedness. We see that, we understand it, we see it in all its glory. We've done so much work to heal it. We've held it enough to understand it, we've transformed it, we've been in the alchemy of that core pain. And that a lot of our energy has been towards the healing of that. But there is something so fundamentally difficult about not only seeing the core pain that you've carried, but seeing and understanding how it implicated or impacted in your life. Seeing what you did to survive it, seeing what you did to protect yourself from it, seeing what you missed out on, seeing what you regret as a result of this pain. And if you look at that just as a statement, look at the words in that statement. What did you have to do to survive that pain? That's a lot of pain in itself. I had to survive by doing A. So if it's perfectionism, I had to survive the fear of rejection by perfectionism. And the living a life of trying to be perfect for 10, 20, 30 years, you're healing the fear of rejection, and you're looking down the lens of how you tried to, keep hold of this perfectionism for years, and the torturous nature of it, constantness of it, the pain of it, and you realize that you've been trying to, use perfection to help you survive. That can be heartbreaking. So this idea that we heal the rejection and that everything else goes up in a puff of smoke is not helpful. What I'm trying to show you here is the complexities of the healing process and how natural and normal they are. And for a lot of us, we have to look at that survival techniques that we had and the pain and that. What you might have done to protect yourself if we keep rejection as the main issue, as the main core problem. What did you do to protect yourself from that? Did you withdraw from relationships? Did you not put yourself forward? Are you not living the life that you were ever intended to, or that you ever wanted because you were so afraid of this rejection? So again, you're having to come to terms with how that woundedness, how that core wound puppeteered your life. Again, devastating, because that feeds into what you missed, what you didn't get, what you didn't have. And whilst, and especially with unclear, whilst the key focus is definitely on the healing of the rejection in this case, as an example. And whilst we remove that, whilst we take that out, take that away, you are still fundamentally left with pieces of the puzzle that are so unique and individual to you. I would hear a lot of people in session, especially people who have had children and who were oblivious to what their woundedness was whilst the children were wee. And then they do the work to heal this pain, and they look back and they give themselves a hard time about not knowing better, not doing better, not having healed this quicker, not having healed this earlier. This sense of wasting time, this sense of this kind of pain arises within us as we come to terms with the fact that we've held this for such a long time and it has maybe infiltrated our relationships. So these parts, these meanders, these U-turns, these difficulties that often present ourselves during the process, after the process, these regrets, these, and sometimes, once you've done that healing work and you're exhausted and it's difficult to get yourself to know where you're going, to know what your next journey is, to know what part of the next journey is. All of this. And the reason for this small, tiny podcast today is just to say that this happens time and time and time. I hear it time and time again. And I hear people's main question in that is, could I have done this earlier? Could I have done this quicker? How did I not know? Why did I not know? Why did I not do better? Why am I still in pain? Why am I in the pain of what the pain was? Why can't I move on? Where am I now? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's happening. And this is after you've healed the pain. So what I'm really trying to reiterate is that this journey of healing is filled with these meanders, filled with these U-turns, and it's so normal. I'm reminded of a personal story. We lived as a family, we lived in Dubai. It was a long time ago, but I'll say about 10 years ago, I think. And one of my sons had a really difficult time there, and it was part of the reason that we came home, but he didn't like it and he didn't want to be there and he didn't want to be a part of it. And he was in a lot of pain out there. He's a lot of somatic pain, a lot of emotional pain. And the upheaval was too great for him to bear. He was too young. But what was really interesting was that the day that we arrived back to Ireland on that plane, he was very young, but he got out of the plane and he got down on his hands and knees and he kissed the ground and he cried. It's quite emotional even thinking about it, you know. And he had come home, and he had known the comfort of coming home. He had known the joy of being in his homeland. He was familiar with the smells and the tastes and the senses, and he was familiar with this home that had brought him, that had given him so much love. And he cried for being back there, for coming home. And he cried for what had been lost, what the last year didn't bring him, what everything that he hated about where he'd been. And in a way, when I think about the healing process, especially at this key juncture of it, this healing part of it, where you've done the work, where you've done the, where you've found your core wound, where you've found the pain, where you have transformed that pain, where you've healed that pain. Very often you can come to that place of seeing and knowing yourself for the first time, or come back to remembering who you were always supposed to be. And the pain of that can be really great. The pain of that, of all that was lost, the pain that you were in, the pain of the journey that you had to take to get back here, the pain of what you didn't know. Even though there is joy in coming home, even though there is release in coming back to the healing and coming back to the person that you were ever supposed to be, there can be great difficulty and great pain in that too. And if we understand that, then we can give ourselves a wee bit of grace, a wee bit of compassion, a wee bit of understanding. That the homecoming, that the healing journey can be, in the end, even at the end, difficult. It can be painful. It can be filled with melancholy. It can be filled with regret. And that they are parts of the journey that we get to work through, that we get to allow and understand, and not feel like we're wrong. We have done this poorly. We're not there. We're not complete. The journey's not over. I need to do more. So what I'm trying to say is, this healing journey is a universal journey. It's unique, but yet it's universal. So yours mightn't sound like regret. Yours mightn't sound like regret, or pain at the survival mechanisms. It mightn't sound as exact as this, but it'll be some version of that. And that's okay. It might be melancholy. It might be the seeing of what you didn't do because you were holding this pain. It might be the regret of what you don't have, but it's yours. It's understandable. It's part of your journey. It's part of the energy of healing. And that it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's not mad, it's nothing but normal. And it's a normal part of the healing process. So this quick 15 minutes, because that's all of these lessons from sessions will ever be, are just tiny stories under the intricacies of the healing journey. Not just my healing journey, but thousands of hours of clinical practice that I've come to hear and see. And I hope you find comfort in it. I hope you find understanding for yourself in it, compassion for yourself in it, and a wee bit of grace as you move along in the healing journey. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if this was helpful to you in any way by reaching out. You can reach out on our Facebook. You can reach out on our Instagram. And let me know if this was helpful to you. Bye for now. See you on the next podcast very soon.